What's up everyone? Today all we're going to look at is iteration, which is the last of the sequences that we have to learn. By the end of this video you should understand how an iterative sequence works and how to solve equations on iteration, or rather using iteration. An iterative sequence is basically a sequence where the previous value determines the next value, and vice versa. So, we're told that the first x value is minus 2.5, and we're told that the next x value is going to be minus 2 minus 4 over the previous x value squared. That's all that means. So what is x1, x2, and x3 going to be? Well, let's look at it in an example. x1 is simply going to be minus 2 minus 4 divided by, and we know that x0 is the previous one, so it's going to be minus 2 minus 4 over minus 2.5 all squared, which is equal to minus 66 over 25. And so now for x2, all we're going to do is we're going to have this value here, and we're going to sub it in for xn. So then x2 is simply going to be minus 2 minus 4 over x1 all squared. And we know what x1 is. x1 is going to be minus 4 over minus 66 over 25 squared, which is equal to minus 2803 over 1089. And again, just like the previous, all we're going to do is sub it in for n. So x3 is going to be minus 2 minus 4 over x2 squared, which is minus 2 minus 4 over minus 2803 over 1089. Excuse me for using all the page. Which is equal to minus 2.6038. I'll put it into 5 significant figures just because in an iteration, very minuscule answers can change. An iteration is most usually used to work out and exhaust an equation to the point where the answer barely changes anymore, right? So we're told that a sphere has an approximate radius of 7, but it can be worked out using the square root of 239 over the previous radius. So what is R2 and R3 going to be? Well, if you learned anything from the last example, we can say that R2 is equal to the square root of 239 over R1. And we know what R1 is equal to. R1 is equal to 7. So R2 is simply going to be equal to 5.84. And again, we're going to sub in the next value. Hold on, let me give it to more decimal places. It should be equal to 5.8432. Okay, sure, I'm happy with that. The next value is simply going to be R3, which is equal to the square root of 239 over R2, which is equal to 239 over 5.84, which is equal to 6.3955. So now what we want to do is we want to continue the iteration until the values no longer change. There's a very easy way of doing this. On your calculator, which should look something like this. And here are your buttons, whatever. We're going to put the square root of 239 divided by aunts. And you let aunts equal 7, right, as your first value. And now what we're going to do is we're going to spam that equal sign. Can you hear my microphone? Absolutely spam it until you cannot see a change in the value. Okay, I think I've spammed it enough. And so if you've done that correctly, the answer you'll get is 6.2 to 1 decimal place. We can even use iterative methods to solve equations. So first things first, show that this cubic has a solution between 1 and 2. What we're going to do is we're going to sub in 1 and 2 for this equation. So if fx is equal to x cubed plus x minus 7, sorry, we're going to make it equal to 0. Then f of 1 is going to be equal to 1 cubed plus 1 minus 7, which is equal to minus 5. And f of 2 is going to be equal to 2 cubed plus 2 minus 7, which is equal to 3. And then because it passes through 0, as this is a negative and this is a positive, then therefore there is a solution between 1 and 2. Now, show that the equation can be rearranged to give x is equal to 7 minus x, all cube rooted. So all we're going to do is let's rewrite our equation. So we got x cubed plus x is equal to 7. Put the x on the other side. We want to make x cubed the subject. So we minus x. And we're left with x cubed is equal to 7 minus x. And then remember, this is x cubed, so all we're going to do is we're going to cube root it. So x is equal to the cube root of 7 minus x. And now we need to use the iteration formula, which is this. And we're told to use it 3 times to estimate the solution. Because the question specifically asks us a finite number of times, we're gonna have to write down what our solutions are. We're still gonna use this method, of course we are. It's just so much faster. But we are gonna have to write down what our solutions are, which is no fuss. x1 is simply going to be equal to the cube root of 7 minus 2, which is equal to 1.70998. x2 is going to be equal to the cube root of 7 minus 1.71. I'm just going to round it, which is equal to 1.74242. And x3, and this is the one that they're after, is equal to the cube root of 7 minus 1.74, which is simply going to be equal to 1.73885. And that is our final solution because this is the 3rd iteration. We can also do this in reverse. So here we're told that a sequence is defined by the next term being equal to 5 times the previous minus 15. If u3 is equal to 6, then what is u5 going to be equal to? Well, that's not too difficult. All we're going to do is we're going to iterate it twice. u4 is going to be equal to 5 times u3 minus 15, which is the same as 5 times 6 minus 15, which is the same as 15. Same with the next value. u5 is going to be equal to 5 times u4 minus 15, which is the same as 5 times 15 minus 15, which is equal to 60, so our answer is 60. However, u2, we're going to have to write slightly different, because we know what u3 is. How would we write u3? u3 is going to be equal to 5 times u2 minus 15. So, as some of you might have guessed, we're simply going to make u2 the subject. How do we make something the subject? Well, we need to make everything else go on the other side. So we're going to plus 15. And what we're left with is u3 plus 15 is equal to 5u2. And then we're going to divide by 5. So therefore, and this is the important part, u2 is going to be equal to u3 plus 15 divided by 5. And now all we need to do is sub in 6. So that's the same as 6 plus 15, all divided by 5. 6 plus 15 is 21, divided by 5. We're left with 21 over 5. If we want to, we can sub this back into our original to double check. So u3 is equal to 5u2 minus 15, which is the same as 5 times 21 over 5, excuse me, minus 15, which is the same as 21 minus 15, which is equal to 6, which is what we got here. And so our final answer is 21 over 5. And that is 100% correct. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked it, subscribe for more videos. If you guys have any individual questions you want to ask me directly, join my Discord server or leave me a comment down below. And if you guys want some extra tutoring, drop me a business email to set up a free meeting and a quote. Keep on learning, as you have no idea what you're capable of doing.